since the shooting started, the best performing asset has been Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it's not close, right? Gold is actually down since the shooting started, and stocks are basically flat. Bonds are basically flat. Bitcoin's up. So it's interesting.
Yusko frames crypto, particularly Bitcoin, not as an isolated innovation, but as a reflection of global macro conditions. In simple terms, Bitcoin moves because the world moves. When liquidity increases, Bitcoin rises. When uncertainty spikes, Bitcoin reacts. When traditional systems weaken, Bitcoin strengthens. This is why he calls crypto a giant macro trade. At its core, Bitcoin is competing in the store of value market, historically dominated by assets like gold, real estate, and government bonds. But unlike those, Bitcoin is digitally native, borderless, scarce-bind, independent of centralized control, and that combination is powerful. Yusko emphasizes that crypto isn't just about currencies, it's about financial infrastructure. Stablecoins, blockchain rails, and decentralized systems are creating a faster, cheaper, and more efficient backbone for global finance. In the long run, he believes, every asset, stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities will be digitized and moved on-chain. That's not speculation. That's a transformation already in motion.
Look, crypto, Bitcoin, crypto broadly, it is just a giant macro trade, right? What it is, crypto per se, stable coins and cryptocurrency are better rails for doing finance of the future. So the financial services market will eventually all be on crypto. Now, some say it'll all be on Bitcoin, some say it'll all be on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few others. At the end of the day, we'll find that out. But ultimately, everything, right? Every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, everything is going to be digitized. We backed a company Figure that is helping put real world assets on chain for the first time and basically competing against DTCC. Right. So I do think this is all going to happen. I just think, look, the president said whatever it took to get elected. That's what politicians do, right? And so he made a bunch of promises. I'm a big Maverick fan. Son, your ego's writing checks your body can't cash, right? Top Gun. So he can't do the things that he promised unilaterally, so he needed Congress. Well, Congress, most of them are funded by the people that crypto is trying to displace.
Right.
Ms. Warren, for example. So I'm not saying he's good, bad, or indifferent, other than he's been ineffective at pushing the legislation he promised because, well, one, presidents don't make legislation. They sign it after Congress does. And two, his team is good at certain things, but they're certainly, what it appears so far we've seen, not really good at affecting much change of any kind. Yeah. And then this gambit in the Middle East, we could spend all afternoon talking about it. I just think complete disaster on every front. We got 800 ships stranded in the Strait still, despite it, being the blockade and then the blockade of the blockade, and then we're open, but then we're not open. And at the end of the day, you can't, I don't believe, right? And history would be on my side. You can't win conflicts halfway around the world. We've tried dozens of times, pretty much lost them all. And, if it escalates to a world war, we're undefeated there. But I think the skirmishes tend to be just long funding acts for military spending, and that's not really good for everything else.
Sure.
Except for money supply. Global money supply, Paul, is on an extreme ramp, which is partly why, since the shooting started, the best performing asset has been Bitcoin. Yeah. And it's not close, right? Gold is actually down since the shooting started, and stocks are basically flat. Bonds are basically flat. Bitcoin's up. So it's interesting.
If there's one concept you need to understand, it's this. Liquidity is the engine of markets. Yusko highlights that global money supply is expanding at an aggressive pace. Central banks, governments, and financial systems continue to inject capital into the economy, and that liquidity has to go somewhere. Increasingly, it's flowing into risk asset, technology, and yes, crypto. Bitcoin, in particular, acts like a high beta liquidity asset, meaning it amplifies the effects of money flowing into the system. This is why macro conditions matter more than ever.
I want to go to our lightning round with you. And short answers. Clarity breaks the 4-year cycle for Ethereum. Do you think that if Clarity goes through, it breaks the 4-year cycle for Ethereum this year?
No, I think the 4-year cycle exists because of Bitcoin code, and therefore an Ethereum follows Bitcoin, and just it's a liquidity, waterfall. So I don't think so. I think it's good for Ethereum. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it breaks the cycle. Humans are going to human.
Let's go for it. If Clarity doesn't pass, we crash to a new yearly low on crypto in general.
No, I'll actually go the other way. If Clarity does pass, we probably extend the bear market longer. I think if Clarity passes, maybe instead of being September, October to get the ultimate kind of break into crypto spring out of winter, maybe that advances.
All right, so I'm going to say if it doesn't pass,
if Clarity doesn't pass, we crash to no. I don't think so.
No. All right. Okay. Let's move on to this one right here. Circle learned their lesson on not freezing hacked funds. Do you agree on that one? Hacked funds.
So Circle will not freeze hacked funds.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the question. Do you think because they did not freeze hacked funds and they had the chance?
Oh, okay. Got it. I misunderstood. I thought this said that they did.
No. Okay. No, so you agree. All right. Okay. So you would agree.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, yeah.
Okay. All right. So sorry. Okay, then we went down the wrong tab.
Tether
yeah, right. Tether flips Bitcoin after a successful audit. Do you think that would happen?
Tether's market cap versus Bitcoin?
Yeah. No. All right. Let's go on to this one right here. Trump term will be less chaotic on markets after the midterms when he loses.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because the third year is always amazing because the incumbent's trying to, keep their party in power. So they will pull out. I mean, whether it's putting pressure on the Fed, whether it's passing fiscal stimulus, whether it's, he's already promising the biggest tax cut in history, which never delivers, but he's promising it again. So third year of presidential cycles are always, the best.
Okay. All right. What would be the bigger catnip for institutional investors? Would it be revenue share tokens or token buybacks, do you think?
Oh, it's a great question. I'd give it maybe just a slight nudge to revenue share, although I like the token buyback,
Okay. Well, you're institutional, so you would go the revenue.
I think they're both attractive, but I give a little nudge to revenue share.
Okay. What will be the more successful new bank launch, Ripple and Circle, or if Robinhood gets their banking off the ground?
I don't think Ripple's ever going to get what they promise, so I'll go with Robinhood.
Okay, Robinhood. Okay, let's go. Man, Mark Yusko, you're coming in hot today with some good text here. What's politically worse for crypto industry sentiment right now? World Liberty Fi or what happened with FTX?
Definitely FTX. I mean, people are trying to make World Liberty out to be some big scandal, but it pales in comparison in terms of dollars. Look, presidents have taken donations from world powers. They did it through their foundations.
Sure,
right?
This is just a creative crypto way.
And why is it okay for the Clinton Foundation to accept a big, giant donation from the Saudi government? I've never understood that, right? Because if they're still in power, why should they be allowed to do that? But they were, and all the other presidents have foundations. So I just think it's a new age version of the same bad actor
Yeah.
And
Activity. What about this one? Is Boomer Capital actually worried about Bitcoin quantum risk? Do you think that's a concern right now?
um, I just on the verge of no. I think the FUD is really active. I think there are some people that are worried about it, but I think generally speaking, those of us, and because I'm a boomer, those of us who know anything about Bitcoin are not really worried about it. You know,
Okay.
quantum is one of these things that the idea is interesting. In practice, we're still a long way away, and I still contend that if I were gifted a quantum machine, the first thing I'm attacking is not Bitcoin. That's worth, Satoshi's
Yes.
coins are
Small
worth a
market
few
cap. Yeah.
tens of billions. The nuclear codes are worth way more than that.
Yeah, for
JP
sure.
Morgan's bank accounts are worth way more than that. So
Yeah.
I just don't see it. But
Here's the last question. Polymarket becomes the biggest insurance marketplace for investors. What do you think?
So I'm on record saying that the rebranding of gambling to prediction markets
Yeah.
is the greatest rebrand in the history of rebrands. I mean, it's like, it's like trying to upgrade the world's oldest profession to, the escort service. I mean, it sounds a little better, but it's the same thing. And so I now trying to brand it as an insurance marketplace. No, I mean, it's still speculation and gambling. Now, can you say insurance is a form of speculation? No, it's a form of hedging, and insurance is about spreading risk. So I guess I'll circle all the way back to say it's certainly possible that if
I'm going to put you in the middle.
no, it's certainly possible that if people are willing to accept that this marketplace is a place to pool risk. Now, history has shown that these marketplaces don't actually develop. And the reason mostly is because regulators don't like it, right? If you think about it,
Well, there's a fight for it now.
We should have nationalized health insurance. Oh, no, we don't. No, of course you do. We don't want each state to be a separate risk pool. We don't want each company to be like, I have, 25 people in my company and I'm a risk pool. Well, that means if I have one person who has to buy an expensive drug, my premiums go crazy. That's just silly. I should pool with dozens of other groups.
Similar companies. Yeah.
And the more you pool your risk, the better. So I can see the efficacy of broader, faster, real-time updated markets being, used for insurance.
Finally, Yusko offers a sharp critique of prediction markets. He argues that platforms like Polymarket are essentially rebranded gambling systems. While they may evolve into broader financial tools like risk pooling or insurance, the reality is regulators remain skeptical, adoption faces structural challenges, and behavior often leans toward speculation. Still, the idea of decentralized risk markets remains intriguing.